Hi guys, in this video we're making a turtle cake. Now this cake was designed by Lola, aged 9, who actually won a competition that we ran a little while ago. As the competition winner, she got to have her design made in cake, and this is it just here. So a nice little pencil drawing she's done of a turtle, and she's put all sorts of details on the back of that. So I'm just going to use a 6-inch sponge cake for this one. We're going to try and keep it nice and simple. Now I'm going to take kind of the top edge off, the top corner, so that we round it off slightly. And can you see I'm going slightly deeper as I come down to like a V shape? I'm going to cut down a little bit there as well, sloping it backwards. And that little bit we've cut off, we're just going to stick there. Oh, in fact, maybe that bit. Let's cut that into a small triangle, taking a tiny bit off the edges with that. So we're left with like a teardrop kind of shape. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this cake into layers so we can put buttercream filling between each layer. I'm going to take a cake card that's also 6 inches, and I'm going to try and cut a little bit off either side just there so that we're getting a similar kind of teardrop shape. Now it won't fit exactly on this, but as long as I don't see any board showing over the bottom edges, then it should be fine. Okay, then let's give it a quick fill with buttercream. I'm just using vanilla buttercream on this one. Layering it up, and then I'm going to cover the whole thing in buttercream. Now, quite often I'll cover my cakes in ganache, but because this one's fairly simple shape-wise and it's not too big, I'm going to just cover it in buttercream. So I've covered the whole thing, and then just to smooth it off, with it being a curved shape, it's easier if I use like a flexible smoother, that way I can bend it around the cake. And we're going to use a cupcake for the head, and I'll just change the shape of it slightly, so almost the same shape as the body. After I'd done the cupcake for the head, I thought it would have probably been a bit easier if I'd have just left it cupcake shape, and I think it would have still looked okay, cupcake shape too. I'm going to cover this one in buttercream. This is where it gets a little bit messy. And then I'm going to just put these in the fridge so that the buttercream firms up a little bit. So while they're in the fridge, I'm just needing some fondant. So it's just roll out icing or fondant that I'm using here, and I've got a pale green. I actually used one that was pre-coloured. I'll put links below for everything that I've used in the video. Just make sure you roll it out big enough that it can cover the cake. Rubbing it gently with your hands. And then let's just cut around the edges. Now, I've pre-covered a cake board, and I apologise I didn't film this. It's like a flower-shaped kind of cake board, and I just mixed some blue and white fondant together, but I didn't mix it very well, and rolled it out. So I get that marbled look on the board. We've stuck the turtle's body down to the board with a bit of buttercream, and then we're just going to cover the head the same as we did the body. It's a little bit trickier, this one, with it being so small, so I couldn't get it quite as neat as the body. Let's just try and rub out those creases around the edges. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of buttercream to stick that head onto the board. Just wipe off any bits of buttercream that stick out beyond the head, and let's put some little marks on for the eyes. So again, we're just following Lola's drawing for the design that she's done for this one. And it's got a simple little smile at the front. Just drawing that in with my Dresden tool. And then let's make some white ovals for the eyes. Again, I'm just using the fondant or sugar paste for these eyes. And then we've got some more kind of teardrops, slightly longer teardrops now for the back legs or flippers. Just going to stick these down. If they don't stick, you can put a little bit of water underneath them or edible glue. And then we're going to add some little balls of the sugar paste. Same colour. Let's just enhance the little tail a bit more. Just noticed on Lola's drawing it's a separate piece rather than part of the shell. And then let's stick some more little balls of fondant on. You notice sometimes I call it fondant, sometimes I call it sugar paste. In the UK it's actually sugar paste, and I think in America it's fondant. So I'm sticking quite a few of these near the bottom end, and then we'll stick some smaller ones on the face. I'm not going to cover the whole thing in them though. If they don't stick, put a little bit of water down, and then you can press them into the wet fondant. Front flippers, we're going to go slightly bigger. Flippers or fins, I'm not sure what they're called. Okay, so slightly different shape-wise to the back as well, almost like little boomerangs. And then we're just going to press these down, just give them a bit of a smooth when they're in place. And this one's got kind of lines on it, so you don't have to do it the same as this. You could create different patterns rather than lines. It's entirely up to you. Or you could put some little dots on like we have done on the back ones. So I'm going to add some dots to this now, to the front. Again, I'm not going to cover the whole of it, just a few at the front. Then let's give it some rosy cheeks. So this is just an edible food dust. So you can eat this. And I'm just using a soft brush, soft dry brush to add a bit of colour. I'm also going to add some to the back of its fins. And then I've got some little sugar pearls. And we'll use these as air bubbles. So I'm just going to push these into my cake board. So I iced it not too long ago, so it's still quite soft as the fondant, so I can push these in easily. Then let's give it some eyes. I'm going to go for a pale purple. Just 2 discs in the eyes. And let's put a smaller dot in of white. Lola's done a lovely pattern on the back of the turtle, which has got like sea animals and flowers on. So I've pulled out some cutters. And I think it's got a few swirly bits of seaweed on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some swirls on the back first, kind of imprinting them in slightly. You're probably not going to see all these, but they're underneath just in case. And then I'm going to use some nice pastel colours. Again, just using the fondant nice and thin, and we're going to cut out some flower shapes and sticking those down. Now I'm trying to follow Lola's diagram. I'm not sure mine looks exactly the same, but hopefully if I get it pretty similar. The flowers are the nice easy bits. And then let's stick some white centres in the middle. Again, just fondant rolled into a ball and then squished flat. You can use circle cutters though if you've got your circle cutters to hand and if it's easier for you. Now I've got a bit of pale blue left over from my board, so I'm going to add some more little balls of fondant, squishing them down. Do the same with the pale purple. I don't want to put too many on at the moment because I've still got some sea creatures to stick on there. Let's start with one of them here. Looks like a balloon. It's meant to be a fish. I don't have any fish shaped cutters. Next one, let's do the octopus that Lola's drawn. So play around now with different things that you want to put on the shell. You don't have to have the sea creatures. And then let's give my sea creatures some eyes. Again, I'm just using some sugar pearls. They are fairly hard, the sugar pearls. So usually I take them out rather than eating them, but they are pretty much just sugar. And this one here is going to be the lobster. So we've started with an oval body, given it a little tail. Let's give it some pincers and some little sticky out legs. I'm just going to fill in the spaces now with some more dots and some more little fish shapes. Let's go for some different colour fish as well in there. This one's going to be a seahorse. Now I don't think Lola's put any starfish on the design, but I'm just going to add a little starfish just because it fills my gap up there quite nicely. Again, let's put some more little dots in. Now Lola's done a hidden Mickey on her diagram, which I've found. Let's put our 3 dots together to create a little hidden Mickey there in the blue. And then I'm just going to use some more sugar pearls now, just between spaces. And I'm going to add some little pieces so that the water looks like it's got a little bit of movement going on it. So just behind like the flippers and next to the head, sticking these down with a little bit of water. And then I've gone for a slightly deeper purple, and we've rolled a nice thin strip that's got point at either end. And I'm just going to kind of arch it and put it around the top of the eyes. Now, I think I actually liked it better before I put that on, but I've stuck them on there now, so they're on. I think maybe it needs a bit of colour. I'm going to use a slightly darker shade of green than what the turtle is. And again, it's an edible dust, so you can eat this. And I'm just going to brush it on around the edges of the shell with a nice fat dry brush. Okay, I just want you to be able to see a little bit of difference between the shell and its little flippers. And again, I'm going to do the same with the purple, just going around the edge of the eye there, or the edge of the purple circle, I should say. If it doesn't go dark enough, you can dilute it with a bit of water or even with like an alcohol to give you a nice paint. Ooh, and just watch out for getting it on the white. I'm just going to go around the outline a bit more of the white of the eye. Now, ideally, if you have a smaller brush, you get a slightly neater finish. I'm just going to add a little bit of this purple actually around the base here just to darken it even more. And let's just add a bit of that purple in the smile so that smile stands out a little bit more. So there it is, all finished. So lovely design by Lola, and I hope Lola likes her cake. Hopefully next year I'll get a chance to run another cake design competition. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment below. You can see more of my tutorials by clicking on the images on screen now. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with my future tutorials. There are also links in the description box below where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and more.